Hey, Richest, you money maniacs, welcome back. This is a very exciting video to be talking about. The UK is seizing unclaimed assets. Oh, and by the way, they're going to make the businesses pay for their employees to stay home, to stay safe. Wonderful. I think I'm going to move to the UK. Do you want to move to the UK? Let's talk about that. Hey, Richest, you money maniacs. How about it? Tom coming at you. Let's all move to the UK together. Alone, together. It reminds me of Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer when the dentist says to Rudolph,
"Hey, what do you say we both be independent together, huh?"
It doesn't make any logical sense at all. In fact, there isn't a whole lot in the world right now that makes any logical sense at all, except for the fact if you just take into consideration that elected officials are being reactionary. A challenge pops up and they say, oh, well, let's do this. And then another challenge pops up because of what they did and they go, oh, let's do this. It's sort of like whack-a-mole, you know? And they never seem to get it right. So now the UK has followed in the same footsteps as Greece. Does anybody remember what happened to Greece not too many years ago? The whole big challenge of their economy completely collapsing because of their monetary system and their central banking system being so completely messed up that they literally reached into every single bank account and took people's savings, checking money, just took money right out of their accounts, and not a small percent. Now, we'll have to double check this, but I think it was about 40% or maybe 60%, but it was big enough to leave an emotional scar on me for the rest of my life, because what happened after they did this was what worried me so much. The people of Greece didn't do anything. They didn't take up arms and march on the Capitol. They didn't burn the banks to the ground. They didn't go out and riot and tear the place apart. They just kind of went, oh, that stinks. 40% of my money is gone. What will I do? Guess what? That set a precedence for the global banking system. They didn't fight back. I think we can get away with this again. And boom, along comes the most recent health challenge, which, by the way, didn't cause this financial global crisis, of course. We all know that since we've been watching the videos that we put up here on The Richest You. You know that that's not exactly how it worked. So the UK now has decided that its elected officials and banking system are going to seize unclaimed funds and assets. So these are funds that someone or a family, someone dies in a family and maybe the family members didn't even know they had money. So it just sits there for years. And they send out letters to notify family members. But what if it's hard to get in touch with them? What if that family member is out of the country and they don't know it? And they never see the letter. And so those funds sit there, and after a period of time, well, of course, the state has to just grab them. So really what you're talking about is a money and asset grab by a desperate departments in the elected officials in the banking system for the UK. They are so desperate for anything of value that they are going after assets and funds that should be left in escrow for the rightful owners who eventually may come along and say, hey, I didn't even know this money was here. This was my father's inheritance to me, and I'm finally back from a trip. I need that now. I'm going to take that. That's mine. It's rightfully mine because I'm his blood. Or it's discovered that I didn't know my uncle left that big trust fund to me. No, they're not going to wait for that now. What they're going to do is they're just going to take all of that because, well, they got to keep funding themselves and keep funding all of their programs. And of course, every government on the planet is just giving away everything now. And it gets expensive doing that. In fact, it's so expensive that the UK elected officials have also decided that since they can't afford to keep paying people to stay home from work to stay safe, quote unquote, that the businesses of the country are now going to have to carry a portion of the burden of paying their employees to stay home. Wait, yeah, I get it. Those greedy business owners, how dare they be rich and successful? How dare they? They should have to pay. Those greedy business people. All the businesses should pay. If they've got money, make them pay. Oh, wait. We made them shut down. They haven't been making any money for a while now. And they don't have any business or new business. In fact, most of them are claiming bankruptcies and closing their doors forever and laying off their employees and firing their employees. And now that they're in bankruptcy, they don't have enough money to pay for unemployment. So how is that going to work? Okay, we got to let's back this up for a second. Okay, we seized assets and funds that were unclaimed. Okay, that still wasn't enough, but okay, so we tried to tax the businesses, but we closed them down, so they're not really making money. So they're actually going bankrupt now. So we're losing those businesses. I mean, what do we do next? Oh, remember Greece? They did it in Greece. We can do it here too in the UK. Let's reach into people's savings accounts because we're the banking system. Our elected officials have direct access to the central banking system, right? Let's reach in there and take their savings. We won't take all of it. We'll just take a big chunk of it. They won't miss like 50%. Yeah, they'll be fine. Because it's for the good of the nation. It's for the greater good.
Calling yourself a community that cares.
Oh, but we do care, Nicholas.
It's all about the greater good.
The greater good.
So they'll reach in and take savings. First, they'll start with savings accounts. And then they'll just start taking checking accounts too. Oh, and by the way, of course, they've already passed in many places taxes that are COVID-19 specific taxes. So if you go to restaurants in some places, you have a tax to pay for the cost of them doing something about the COVID-19 challenge. I'm not sure exactly what that tax money goes to. It must be to keep people home and safe. So, okay, so there. So now that we've used up all of the money that could be seized from unclaimed, and we've run the businesses out of business by taxing them to death and closing them down so they can't even function, and they have to lay off all of their employees and shut their doors, and then we reached into the bank accounts and stole people's money, and now it's still too expensive. We still can't. It's still not enough money. What are we going to do? I don't even want to guess what would be next, because that's when nations start looking at their neighbors and looking at other nations for resources and wealth and ways to keep their heads above water by any means necessary. And yes, that could entail armed conflict for no other reason than the fact that the banking system has completely bled the country dry. So, it has nothing really to do with health. It has nothing really to do with all of the other distractions like racism or all of those other challenges that have always been around as long as human beings have been alive. It has everything to do with the central banking system and fiat currency. So if you've been watching the Richest You videos, you understand what I'm talking about. If this is your first introduction to the information that I share on here, here's why this is so important to you. Because for you to master your own finances, you must understand what value exchange really is, what money really is, and the difference between currency, especially fake currency. You must understand economics, and you have to have a little bit of good knowledge about some of the politics that's going on, because it's political policy around fiscal spending that makes things so challenging right this second. Now, in other videos, I've explained in more detail how it built up to this, but hey, here's where we are right now. Now you know. that this is what's occurring in the UK. This is the thought process that those elected officials are using. And since it worked in Greece, and now the UK is doing the same thing, don't think for a second that it can't come to the United States or Canada or Mexico or Africa or China or any other nation on the planet. They already tax just about everything you do, including dying. So don't think for a second that they won't feel entitled to the hard work that you do every single day just to keep your head above water. That is why it's more important than ever, ever, ever for you to learn how money actually works and learn how to protect yourself and your family, to keep yourself and safe, to learn how to dodge that bullet, to watch out for that bus when it's coming down the road. So I hope that this video was helpful in opening your eyes. I hope it encourages you to look at more of the Richest You videos and study more about what I teach on how money actually works and how to master your own finances. If you enjoyed this video, please give a thumbs up, and even better, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I really hope that this was helpful to you, and I look forward to helping some more in the future. See you next time, guys.